Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. We have a lot of vlogs coming out on our website. So what we're going to be doing is we will be doing some videos. So if there are any questions on the blogs that are being posted on our website, you can also refer to the videos on it. So I'm going to talk about something that's come up a couple of times in the last week or so. It's called a returning resident visa. And you're also going to be able to find out more information about it on our website, where we're going to have a more detailed description. So returning resident visa is also called SB1 visa. It is exactly what it sounds like. So if you are a permanent resident in the United States, which means you have a green card, your surprise, permanent residence has to be inside of the United States. Of course, you're permitted to travel the world and stuff, but where you reside, where you pay taxes, where you have your primary residence, as they say, it's supposed to be United States. So when life happens, sometimes we have clients who get stuck abroad. And I'm not talking about stuck for the pandemic when the 2020 happened and the flights were grounded. Government was pretty understanding about people sometimes not being able to come back for 6 months or a year until the flights resumed and they were not insanely expensive. That was actually not the issue. But for all intents and purposes, the pandemic is now over as far as DHS is concerned in terms of being able to come back and live in the United States. However, we're still getting people who call us who want to say, oh, I've been outside of the United States for the last 2 years and now I don't know how to come back. I don't know what to do. And can I just say it was the COVID? Well, it's not reasonable anymore to blame it on COVID because not only has international travel been up and running, there's been suspension and even mask wearing, not to mention requirements for COVID testing and vaccination. So there's really nothing in terms of COVID stopping a person to resuming their life back in the United States. But other situations are different. For example, we've had people who went outside of the United States and got stuck because a loved one fell ill or fell sick, or God forbid, terminal illness and then death, and then issues with property, or have to take care of somebody in their older age, and you have not been able to come back to the United States for a period longer than a year. In that regard, the proper thing to do is to apply for a returning resident visa. It is an application that is done through the embassy overseas, where you essentially tell them that I never intended to relinquish my permanent residency, but rather had circumstances were beyond my control, where I could not have gone back to United States. And now I want to not have any issues going through DHS and going through customs. And I want to return safely, be allowed to come back without questioning. So here's my application to return as a resident. And here's my proof why I stayed outside of the United States for an extended period of time, definitely longer than a year. Every case is different. Sometimes I talk to people and I tell them, yes, this is definitely worth a shot. There are circumstances when I tell them just get on a plane and, come back. There are circumstances when I tell them you should try to do the returning resident visa. You should apply for it, and there's high likelihood that you will get it for buying a ticket to a return. I have to say that we have seen that over the last 10 years, because everything has been increasingly computerized and digitized, immigration has a lot easier time tracking absences, comings and goings, as well as social media's postings and stuff like that. And contrary to popular belief, they do stop, they do question, they do deny entries, they do take away green cards and put people in proceedings. So let's say you've been out for 2 years, 3 years, and then you come back because your green card is still valid and you're like, I'm still a green card holder, I'm just going to buy a ticket and come. You will get on a plane, you will come here, you will go to DHS, and they can put you into secondary inspection. And there they can question you and take a sworn statement from you why you were gone, the circumstances of your life in the United States, and try to determine whether you actually intended to preserve your life here in the United States, or you just, decided to live somewhere else for 3 years without intending to be a permanent resident of the United States. And even though they're going to let you into the country, the next thing you're going to get is called a notice to appear to court to essentially defend your green card. The DHS is going to allege that you never intended to continue being a permanent resident, and for all intents and purposes relinquished that right. And it will be up to you to defend yourself. And as I have spoken about it multiple times, removal proceedings are lengthy. They can drag out for years. They're expensive. There's attorneys and court and time and testimony. It can take years and years and years before you have a hearing. It could take multiple months, sometimes years, for the judge to make a decision. You can be bounced around between different judges. In order to avoid all of that, it is appropriate to schedule a paid consultation with an attorney who you can tell your story, why you've been out for a long time, and the attorney will tell you whether the returning resident visa is appropriate for you. I promise you, this is just like when I tell people about driving drunk. I say that even if you need to get an Uber that costs you $300, in the long term, it is much cheaper than paying a retainer to the criminal defense attorney after you get caught driving drunk and have your license suspended and have to take Uber to school, to work, and stuff like that. Whatever that cost you think is in talking to the attorney and getting is definitely less than if you come and you're put into removal proceedings and then you have no way out but to go forward with it and do the full hearing and find an attorney, because no judge is going to allow you to defend yourself. With limited exceptions, most immigration judges strongly encourage people to not represent themselves because it is a quiet and difficult world to navigate. If you are outside and you've been outside of the United States for a long period of time, definitely more than a year, and you want to now ready to come back, schedule an appointment, talk to us, and we will tell you how, when, what is the right way to go about it. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. You can always leave me a comment or call us, and I will be happy to talk to you. Thank you. Have a good day.